Hi, welcome to my journey. We're going to get out here because the sun is trying to peek out a little bit. Even though it's cold, we still had to build up our tolerance for cold weather. And I might show you what I was talking about when I was talking about a hot water bottle, because a lot of people, they don't even know what a hot water bottle is. They never been exposed to the hot water bottle that we used for everything. Okay, I might just do a small short on it, because it just seems like even when I went into the store, they didn't know what I was talking about. So I might just have to inform the younger generation exactly what a hot water bottle is, especially when it's cold like this. And especially our women who are on the front lines, trying to demand their rights. Yeah, tell them to bring that hot water bottle back and tell them stop taxing us the pink tax. Hold on. So today is Sunday. I had to buy eggs, toilet paper, more protein mix. Just I think I made like 3 orders to Walmart, trying to get myself together, because the first time I was like, maybe I'll just get some milk and creamer, and I could manage without anything, wait, right? Because I had took out some of those big ass prawns, right? And deciding that I was gonna have prawns, right? And I am gonna have prawns. They're defrosting. Okay. I still have some prime rib cutlet. Okay. Look at the sun. Oh my God, the sun. Whew. I'm telling you, it was gray and cloudy. And like I said, the sun was peeking through, saying, if you come out for a little while, Cherie, we'll give you a little sunshine. I'm riding on sunshine. Yeah. So here I am, riding on sunshine. Yep. So I did have a spiritual attack. It didn't come across like a spiritual attack. It came across like a spiritual invite. And the next thing you know, I was wrestling with somebody's husband. And I told her, when the wife came out, I told her, I said, your husband liked to be dominated. This was not my fault, and it was not my intentions. And she knew exactly what I was talking about, because even though her husband liked to be dominated, she was very submissive. Yeah, that's kind of how it is sometimes, right? And that's why they had that song a long time ago. Love the one you with, love the one you with. But it always seems to turn out that the one we love loves somebody else, right? Right. So yeah. Dang, gasoline prices done dropped to $2.33. Well, damn. They really trying to get people to buy some cars. Dang, that Santa Fe truck looked awfully nice. It did. It did. I wonder if they had little Santa Fe campers put on the back of that Santa Fe truck. So you can put the camper on and take it off, right? You get to the campsite, go fishing, you know, then drop it off in your yard or the other side of the garage. I wonder. Right? We're just talking about camping for one. We ain't talking about camping for the whole tribe. Like Arby's is going out of business. It looks like they just took down all of the little flyers and stuff. And they're not advertising no sales. But let's see. We'll see. Like I said, you know, when you get out, you start seeing the subtle small changes. And before you know it, you saw the big change. You have to pay attention to the details. Arby's tried to make a comeback with their steak nuggets. They thought their steak nuggets was going to be gold nuggets. But no, it didn't turn out that way. Yeah, so it's 52 out there. We got some sun rays going on here. Feels really, really good. Really good. Because it was kind of cold in the house. I had to have the heat on, the electric blanket on, a couple layers of clothes. I'm like, what is this? Right? Then I went to the Weather Channel, found out that they got snow and ice up north. It's like, oh, okay. I guess I should be glad and feel lucky that we're only at 52 degrees, even though it feels really cold. It does feel really cold. Yeah, they really need to fill these potholes on the street. Four, 5, 6, 7. What? 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's Sunday, the 7th of December. And we are feeling bits and pieces of the winter already. I think winter commences, I want to say winter starts in January. Yeah, course winter starts in January. That's that's what the Cardinals do. The Cardinals, like, they jump off the season, right? The Cardinals, who are the Cardinals? Capricorn, Aries, damn, I'm not real familiar with the Cardinals right now. But Capricorn, Aries, Libra. No, it's Libra. Yeah, Libra. And oh yeah, Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal. Yeah, Cardinals. Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries. That's the 1, 4, 7, 10. Right? It's the 1, 4, 7, 10. Now, if you have planets in all of those positions, then you are either an empress or an emperor of the cardinal signs. And if that happens to be you, put it in the description below that is you, and give me your birthday so I can look it up on AstroSeek, or you can look it up on AstroSeek and just send me a photocopy of your birth chart so we can celebrate together, right? For sure. And I will even give you a free read if you put your birth date or do a picture of your birth chart on my feed. I will do an astrological reading for you if you want me to. I don't do astrological readings unless people really want me to, right? Because I hate doing work for people and it don't mean shit to them, and I'm like, what do you want? Why'd you even ask? Why did you even ask if you're not spiritual? Why did you even ask if you don't believe in astrology? Why? Anyway. Oh my God. 250 Betsy Ross flag girl. Okay. Has it been 250 years? So yeah, we're not gonna get out and walk in this 53 degrees weather, right? Because we're not going to play with the weather like that. We're just not. We're not. So for those people who don't have, like, Obamacare, Obamacare is based off of your income. Preconditioned situations are accepted. And yeah, you can get Obamacare. Now, you really have to shop to see, what what program applies to you. I have found out, because I am a registered member of an Indian tribe, that that alone will allow the government to pay for my medical. Okay? So now that I found that out, it won't be absolutely free, but it will be close to free as anything, right? I think I have like a deductible of like 1,500 or something like that. So, but the plan doesn't cost me anything. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I had a hard time downloading, my documentation, from my tribe. Every time I try, it just doesn't accept it. But fortunately, I have until February to get that downloaded. Now, it keeps saying that I don't have enough memory. And I'm like, how do I not have enough memory? Right? Oh my goodness. This car that's in front of me, you hear it? They just bought it. It's an old car. And the license plates is one of those paper license plates dated in October. Oh my gosh. The sun has really come out. It came out. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Even though it hasn't gotten any warmer, but the sun has at least come out. It's not that old dreary gray, colorless, sky type of situation. That makes all the difference in the world. So this time, I'm going to try to see if, I can get adequate protein from the eggs that I bought, right? Because I bought 60 eggs. Okay, I bought 60 eggs. Thankfully, the eggs have reduced, went back down in price. Um, and it was under $10 for 60 eggs. Because, I don't think I could really do, the carnivore diet like that, I tried, right? I tried. And even though I still have like 3 of the beef cutlets in the refrigerator, I'm not real anxious to eat them. Now, I ate the beef cutlets, right, by themselves. Had me a couple of patties. Like, oh yeah, I feel pretty full, snacked on another patty. Then I ended up cutting 2 of the patties and putting them inside of a salad, right? And of course, I doctor up my salad. I do. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to do when I came out, was to stop off at Aldi's and get some more salad, right? I don't let them pick out my salad because unfortunately it seems like they work for the store, and they want to get rid of the oldest salad first, and I want to get the longest life-lasting salad. So we conflict that way, and that's why I generally don't really want to let them pick out my fruits and salads and vegetables. Like I said, it just seems like there's a conflict of interest there. So that's one thing. If the store is not crowded, I will stop off at Aldi's and pick up some cabbage and spinach. So that I can make me a salad. I already bought some more salad dressing because I used the last salad dressing. And so, yeah, here we go, So, I might eat the shrimp by itself, or I might eat the shrimp with some eggs, or I might eat the shrimp in a salad. But we're definitely having shrimp today. At some point, we're going to have some shrimp. Right? We might even have some more hot pot from ramen noodles with shrimp and a steak patty and some spinach, and yeah, do I have any more carrots? Okay, so that's a Darth Vader holding a candy cane. Huh. Big balloon. Big balloon. About 20 feet tall balloon. Darth Vader. Huh. So yeah, we're riding around, having a good time. We can't go far, but at least we can get out, get back in without getting wet and without getting too cold. What more can we ask for? It feels like my pedal is being interfered with by this mat. I'm gonna have to check this out. So maybe my blood pressure might have went down a little bit because I'm not eating those processed nuts, you know, those big bags of trail mix that I used to buy. Yeah. Because it just seems like my blood pressure is a little down, you know, since then. Chandeliers in that foyer. They look like big glass ornaments. First time I seen just like naked wood siding. I mean, it looked like real wood siding on the whole house. gonna run in here to this Aldi's down here that's not in my neighborhood because I have to stop anyway, so I can see what the hell is going on here. Okay, I think my mat was causing a problem with my pedals. Let's go on in here. don't know when it shut off, but whenever it shut off, I was just giving a detail of, my Aldi's little baby haul here, right? And just going on with my ride, not going to let this be like problem, that makes me say, oh my gosh, I want to go back home right now. Just because, a guy appears to be aggressive in the Aldi store. He had designated himself as the line patrol. Yes. And I understand. Some people, it's got to be fair, even if we gonna fight about being fair. Yeah. I understand. I do. So, yeah, thankfully the sun has come out and people are out here shopping, because every Aldi that I passed, they seemed like there was, it was full of people. Central downtown, right? I want to start heading back. Because I do have an item here that kind of needs refrigerated. Yeah. Also, I defrosted, I am defrosting the soup that I got from the food pantry. I'm excited to see what kind of soup it is, and I'm really hoping that it's a cheese tortilla soup. Right? Now, it could be the chicken noodle soup. It could be. But it looks more like the tortilla soup. And if it defrosts tonight, we're going to have some of that. Yeah, we're going to have some of that. Seeing a lot of cars from Louisiana over here in Texas. What are they doing? thought it was just going to be like a momentary break and a little bit of sunshine, but oh my God, it really cleared up. I think this is one of those, I don't know what that is. I think that's the self-driving cars. Even though there's a person in it, I think it drives itself. And that's a Uber. It says Uber there, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. Right? Those were the vehicles that they called, they made reservations for in California. And they like burned about 5 of them, set them on fire when they was doing the rioting over there in California. That's so true. I guess they was mad. They were like, you ain't gonna take our job. And here's the thing. When they know that automation and technology is taking our jobs away, right? How are they planning on feeding and housing and clothing the people? Right? That's what they really need to be concentrating on. And I suppose this has to be figured out by 2030. By 2030, they need to figure it out on how they're going to divide the assets and the resources and have it figured out. Because right now it's already causing a problem, right? And I guess even if they have it figured out right now, because they can't put it into motion, they can't even let people know how it's going to be sorted out. Okay? Because there will be people trying to interfere with the outcome. Right? There's always people interfering with the outcome of everything. Right? Because there's always people not happy about the way things are going. We have people who are not happy that we don't live off grid. You know, and still riding, horse and buggy. And, yeah, they're not happy. So even the ones that was riding horse and buggy, there was people who probably objected to them riding horse and buggy because the horses were shitting everywhere. And if the horses had a broken leg, they would just kill them. They didn't take the time out to try to doctor them up. It was like, they didn't have enough time to be trying to care for a horse. Even though bones mend over time and care, right? But they're like, we're gonna have some horse meat. And they will, they will eat horse meat. I know because my mom had went to, they used to call them food lockers back then, where you could buy bulk food. And it wasn't called a market as far as I know because it wasn't fresh. It wasn't fresh. It was frozen food, so they call it the meat locker. And they did have horse meat. And my mom, she had bought some horse meat. And what she did with the horse meat was she made some chili with it. That's what she did with it. So I don't know what that is, but it says it's La La Land. And it seems to be pretty busy. I'm gonna have to look it up and see what that is. Called La La Land. And it's got like a image of an angel on it. Yeah. Oh, it's food. It's food. But all of their parking spots are taken up. So people are supporting this La La Land restaurant, at least today they are. And they even have gear. Looks like they have hats and cups and yeah. I'm gonna have to look them up, see what they are. See why people are out here waiting for a parking spot in their cars. The left lane ends. So yeah. So it looks like they're building some more affordable housing over here. Two huge sky rises over here. Because it's not even worth it to make commercial property anymore. It's just not. Not with the way people are doing business today. And so a lot of these commercial businesses, they're giving people time, to figure out what they plan on doing. Because, a lot of the commercial businesses, the ones where they put their name on the business and all of that, right? And now they can't even have, bodies in there because people don't want to go to work, in the office, right? And then they're like, well, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and have remote workers. And then they turn around and have, foreign remote workers, that don't have, the same business ethics and integrity as people in America would have, right? And they, in their minds, they're probably like, yeah, fly over here to India and come get us. Fly over here in Nigeria and come get us. Fly over here wherever and come get them. By the time you arrive, they won't speak the language. They won't speak the language. They won't tell you what happened, what went on, nothing. And that's what a lot of Americans had experienced when, they had relied on outsourcing to different countries. And we had a whole lot of breaches. We had a lot of breaches of information. Data. Right? And that's why, they have so many of these lawsuits, in court, where they're suing these companies for data breaches. And it takes years and years and years because, the company doesn't want to pay out, and they're fighting, in court as to how much, they should pay out, because they don't feel like they should pay out that much. But breaches of data is a serious thing. And I guess, they should have understood, what the consequences could be by doing business overseas and outsourcing. And even now, a lot of them, they can't guarantee security outsourcing. At least here, you're doing business in America, you're doing business under our laws, and it's enforced by our police. And it's accessible. It's not readily accessible overseas. And a lot of them thought that, well, if they just had, like one one American representative or supervisor or manager or something like that, that will help it to work. Kinda. But if that one had their life threatened or felt unsafe, because even here in America, some supervisors, they feel very uncomfortable, trying to, control some of the employees. Very uncomfortable. So either these are apartments or condos. And people don't really want to buy a condo, right? Why would you lock in on a condo, right? They're getting kind of smart about these condos. They're kind of treating condos the same way that they would treat like a timeshare. Like, oh yeah, it sounded good at the time, but now the time, has passed, it's not as a great of investment as they thought it would be. they told you once you bought your timeshare, you could pass it on to your beneficiaries and sell it, yeah, right? And then let a hurricane show up and wipe everything out, and the next thing you know, the homeowners association is talking about, they got to rebuild everything. And you don't even want to hear how much it's going to cost you. It don't matter. Just write it off as a loss. Because why would you do that when you thought that you was making an investment in property, and was going to be able to use it for family reunions and and pass it on to your children and shit. Not when the homeowner association says this property has to be top notch. We got to compete with the best. Right? And I know I even asked the question, well, what about a hurricane or a tsunami? You know what they told me? They told me they had insurance. That's what they told me. I was like, great, you have insurance. Next time, I'll try to remember to ask what the deductible is. But today, you can have insurance with this deductible, but every year, you had to buy insurance. Every year. You have to know, dang, how can you unload this timeshare? And then people got real smart. They were like, we ain't even buying a timeshare. Oceanside timeshare? Hell no. Woo. So then the timeshares went to like a point system. Right? And this is where you're not buying any property per se, but based off of your point system, you have these tiers of where you can go and stay at, right? And of course, you have to be in the know. You have to be in the know, because if you're not in the know, then you won't know that there are certain time frames. There are certain time frames that you had. No, not certain time frames. There was a certain time frame that you was able to convert your plan over to a point to the point system. Okay? And it was a window. And if you didn't do it, then yeah, you were part of, the people who got washed out when, the tsunami or the hurricane hit your particular, timeshare property. And I wasn't in the know. I wasn't in the know. back then, I was like, oh, I should be able to be in the know, It's only a 5-hour drive to the ocean, but as the economy got bad and, car maintenance got high and yeah, it just wasn't financially feasible for me to even attend, a meeting. It was inconvenient. And I think they even held the meetings during the weekday, right? Because it was work for them. But I'm like, no, I can't take off of work to go to a meeting. What kind of shit is this? You should have these meetings on the weekend. That's what I felt like. But they didn't feel that way. They felt like, we need our weekends. We need our weekends. So you really got to be careful, And a lot of people bought into those, to those timeshares and ended up, losing out, Because if you don't have the ability to make a quick change when they give you that 30-day notice that they're getting ready to change something, yeah. That was like about $15,000 that just went down the tubes with that timeshare. Right? It was like a big ass scam. Even when they went over to the point system only opened you up to a certain tier and gave you a discount on renting out, the properties. I was through. I was done. I was like, this. They shouldn't be allowed. They shouldn't be allowed to lie to people like this. But, they allow them to do business like this, and they make it seem like, this is good business, and it's not. It's bad business. And based off of that, right? Based off of the way America allows business to happen within our borders, you can best believe if they can't control business within our borders, you can best believe they can't control it outside of the borders. They have even less control outside of the borders. So yeah, the temperature only dropped to 51 degrees. So I'm so glad I got out. I am so glad I got out. Lady girl, why are you running in the middle of the street like that? Why are you guys doing this? Fucking jaywalkers, as if we're supposed to see these people. And I still don't even understand why they felt like it was they had to rush and hurry up and get across the street. There isn't another bus coming. It's just the impatience of impulsive people is ridiculous. I mean, how would it hurt them to have just waited at the light for the light to turn in their favor and they can cross at the crosswalk? Because the crosswalk was no more than 5, 6, 7 feet away. Okay. Maybe it was their short-sightedness. They seen that the light was red and they're like, well, let me cross. But the light was red only on our side of the street. The light was green on the opposite side of the street. So then they were stuck out here in the strip median. Ooh, yes, now I get it. I get it now. Short-sightedness, impulsively, not really seeing the bigger picture. So that's our day. Like I said, I did my walk and my exercises, my lightweight exercises early this morning. I woke up about 7 o'clock this morning, and I figured if I do my exercises, then, I could circumvent the cold. And I did. And I could let the dogs out. And I did. So that was great. However, I kept dozing off and on, And I pretty much was going to spend the whole day like that. And I was telling myself it's too yucky to get outside. It's too gray. It's too cold. It's too windy. It's too, I was saying to myself, I can stay in. I can stay in if I want to stay in. But I'm glad I got out. I am. I got out and was able to hear my own voice. Way, the Arby's sign says closed. So yeah, they gone. They gone. Arby's is gone. On this side, it didn't show anything, but from the highway, it said closed. Arby's is closed. Out of business.